Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of week 4. In this lesson, we are going to look at alerts and buttons and the different utility classes we have in Bootstrap for styling alerts and buttons. Now, we looked at how we use text and background and link colors in the last lesson, and we're going to build upon that site, and we're going to move on to looking at how we can use alerts. So we have this section that has system messages, and we want to make these different sections alerts. Now, we use alerts to put like status messages, like notifications, warnings, success or error messages, and alerts are usually lightweight and flexible components. Now we want to ensure that for the different type of alerts we have the JavaScript, Bootstrap JavaScript also added here. So let's look for the JavaScript, Bootstrap JavaScript. You add this at the last line of just before the close body tag, and I'm putting it here. Okay, so we have JavaScript. So you always make sure that the JavaScript bundle is also there. Now we want to style all of the alerts in this section. Alerts, they use different classes, and the first thing you want to do is to put a class. Let's say div here, we'll put a class is equal to, and you put alerts, and now a space. There are different types of alerts. If you put alert primary, so we have the same colors like we saw in the last lesson. You can have primary, secondary, success, danger, info, warning, light, dark. All of those are different colors. You can try them, change primary to secondary to see the different alerts. So this is registration is now open. Let's use success. So you want to look at the colors that they have and see if the color actually connotes what kind of message you want to put. So you see this registration is now open. All right, so for this section, let's put like a class, just a utility class, to put a margin bottom like this. So let's put mp4 like that. Then we have this system messages, and then we have alert success. Payment is due soon, and this, let's say, it's like a danger, so we can use alert danger or something like that here. So put class is equal to alert danger, right? And so when we refresh our page now, we have it like this. So you can see how this is becoming a web page that has different. So you can use alert warning. You can also use a dismiss, and for that dismiss you need to have the JavaScript like I've already included here. And what you do for that is, let's say we want something dismissible. New grades have been posted, and let's make this like a warning. So let's say class is equal to alert warning, and I'll refresh this and you see this. But maybe I want this to be dismissive. What I'll do here is to add a dismiss class to this. So I'll put alert dismissible, and maybe I want it to fade and show like this. Then to have an X mark that will dismiss. But let's do this on the button instead of on the alert. Let's put a dismissible on the button so you can see the effects properly. So we have all of this here, and then we can put like this is an information system maintenance tonight at 11 p.m. You want to use the classes for what they are meant for. So if it's class info, you want to see if it's just passing information, and so put alert info here, and so this will be like a different shade of view here. So we can see we have done all of this. Now we talked about to add a close button and to make things dismissible. We are going to do that using buttons. Now let's look at the different buttons that we have. So we use buttons to perform action, to do like a submit button, and also to have triggers for events and navigations. So we can use the same colors, but here instead of having alerts, here we can now say class is equal to btn, and then btn primary, secondary, the same color classes we have. Let's say this is btn primary, and then we want the next one, so register for classes, we want the next one to be btn. Let's put this to be success. We want pay tuition, we want this to be warning, and we want the last one contact advisor. Let's make this to be dark. And when I refresh my page, we have all the different buttons here. So we can actually put a style for this, and then when we refresh, we have this. So we can see the different buttons. And now what we want to do is to have a dismissible button. Let's say, for instance, we want to have a dismiss on this register for classes here, so the student can click the X mark. So we'll come here, and maybe we'll surround the button with a div tag, for instance. So let's have this. Let's make this something that we can change into a button like this. Now we have system maintenance tonight at 11 p.m. We want to now put a button, since we know how the button works here, and then we close button. And what we want for this button is just to be like the X mark. So the type will now be equal to button, and the class now that we have is equal to, we know the classes of button, so now this will be btn close. So that's going to be the X mark that we want to have. Now for this div tag, we're going to put alert dismissible, and then let's say page. Now when we refresh our page this time, we're going to have an X mark here, and when you do this, it's supposed to close this, but it's not closing that. So let's see what error we have here. So we have class alert info, then we have alert dismiss visible, and then we have fade show, and then we have this button, the type is button, the class is btn close, and what we did not put here is the dismiss. So we have data bs dismiss. So you have to have this class here and is equal to alert. So you need to have this here, and let's refresh again. Then when we close, it should close. So it did not close. Let's use something. So we want to look at this. If we have our JavaScript, we have it here. Let's move it to the head part. Normally you want to have your JavaScript at the end of the body, but I'm going to put it at the top of the head here. After the CSS, we put the JavaScript. Let's refresh and see if this is an issue, and it still doesn't work. So there's something we have done wrong here. Data bs dismiss, I put dismiss. So dismiss is equal to alert. So that is where the error is. And so when I refresh this page again, I close and this closes. Okay, when you refresh, it comes back. When you close, it closes. So if you want to have like a success button, or just like a warning that a student can dismiss or a user can dismiss, that is what you will. So if you have different buttons, based on what you want to do with it, you decide whether you want to use primary. This is primary, this is success, this is warning, this is tag. So you put the different classes for the button. So you can have an outline button, which is going to be a button that doesn't have this, the color, it is going to be green, but it's going to be like a transparent green there. So we can have an outline button. Let's change this to be, instead of having this tick color, we'll say btn. Let's say btn outline success like this, and then you see the green one will be green, but like just for the outline. And when you hover like this, right? If you want it to be a large button, you want the button larger, you can put add btn large like this. When you refresh, it's going to be large. And you can have small, it's going to be btn small, and when you refresh, it's going to be a small button. If you want it disabled, you can put disabled there, so, and then it will appear like it's disabled when you refresh. Yeah, so you can put whatever style you need for your design, right? You can have different block level buttons, and we use grid or different grid utility classes to achieve this, where you can have a grid to achieve that. You can refer to your lesson resource to see examples on how to do that. You can group buttons together like we have done here, but instead of having this like this, we can put this section, and then we can decide to say this is a group button. So you can say class is equal to btn group. In this context, it doesn't make sense, but we're just trying to see the classes we have. So all of this will be grouped. See, the buttons are like together like a navigation. Okay, so you can group buttons like that. We can have group button vertically, not horizontally, and you can put btn group vertical like this. And when we refresh this, we'll have it grouped vertically like this. Okay, so you see the different ways we use these buttons and the different styles, and depending on what you need to do, you don't want to overload your page with styles because you know all the styles and you want to put them. You want to decide what your style and your color scheme is. We're just trying this out for you to see all of the utility classes we have, and you get your lesson resource. Look at Bootstrap 5 documentation to see more examples. So you want to use descriptive labels. You always want to avoid color only meaning. You want to ensure focus visibility. All right, so we use alerts mostly for messages and buttons mostly for actions. We use alerts mostly is like an optional interaction, and button is not optional. It's an interactive thing. And then JavaScript is always required for only dismissible alerts, but sometimes it's required for buttons. And then alerts have context colors, and buttons also have context colors also. All right, so you refer to your lesson resource to solidify your knowledge on these different buttons and the different alerts that we have. In the next lesson, we are going to look at how to design this table using Bootstrap 5 table classes. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.